Good evening, everyone. Today is January 13th. This is podcast number 16 for the year. 16. We're almost at our record now, Keith. Almost. I think it was 18. I got to go back and check. I believe it was 18.
Oh, we can stop right now then.
Yeah, right? Well, because remember, we did a couple more, and then COVID hit, and then we kind of just stopped. So, with us today, we have an exciting episode. For those that don't know, we have Noah, who is the vice president of Northwestern Esports, and now also their president, Braden, from Northwestern. So we wanted to have them on here again to talk about collegiate, what it's like to be a school in Illinois, college offering esports. And so we wanted to bring them on here to give you their take on esports at NU. So if you wanted to go to NU, you'll kind of know what's going on there, be able to ask them questions. Feel free to ask them in the chat, and one of us will help them out, or I think they're in here too. So feel free to ask away. But without further ado, I'll give you guys first take on it, and then we'll just jump in with questions from chat and questions from us. Whoever wants to go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can start. Thanks for introducing me, Todd. Like you said, my name is Braden. I'm a junior at Northwestern University. I'm the president of the club. Just to give you kind of a brief overview of the club as a whole, we are completely student-run. We are, all of our leadership are undergraduate students, which I think is super cool. Like, I was able to start getting involved with leadership in my sophomore year. We offer a smattering of games competitively, ranging from Smash to Overwatch, Valorant, Counter-Strike, League, Hearthstone. I don't think I'm missing anything.
We're trying to put together Rocket League as well.
Yes, and we were looking to form Rocket League and Call of Duty teams this year as well.
One second. Let me...
Testing sound stuff.
Yep. Try to go ahead and talk now.
Hello.
Nope.
I'm hoping I sound okay.
No, you're not coming through. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Desktop volume sound probably.
No, it's that one. Now let's check.
Check. Hello.
There we go. Now you're good.
All right.
Yeah, I had the wrong input on for the microphone because I was using it for school.
Audio is a killer.
Yeah.
Streaming.
And I
Yep.
I happened to change the settings and didn't change it back because I don't have it set up that way. So
Yeah,
it should be good now.
We've definitely had our fair share of issues with it in the past. Let's see where I was. So competitively, we do that. We occasionally also host some events. Before COVID hit, obviously, we hosted a big Smash tournament in February, which had over 100 entrants, which was super cool. We had a really good time doing it, and we're hoping to continue doing similar things in the future, branching out into other games. That's what we do. I manage a lot of the competitive stuff. Noah, feel free to jump in, add any other perspectives you have here.
Yeah, for sure. So I think kind of like our overarching goal, kind of set in place by our forebearers, those who originated the club. Northwestern Esports is a club that's really focused and honed in on just providing a space for individuals to come together and to connect, create both community as well as competition across, a bunch of different games. And this isn't always competitive necessarily, specifically. We're trying to branch out a little bit more to appeal to a little bit more of like a casual audience. And not saying, certain games can't be competitive. Like I just recently found out that one of our leaders who was doing fighting games, FGC in the past, he's branched out to create an OSU team, the rhythm game. And apparently national competitions for OSU. So we...
I can't imagine OSU competition.
I can't either, but apparently it's super intense.
I mean,
So-
the biggest shock for me for like when talking with a collegiate program and talking about what they had, I think DePaul has a Beat Saber team. And I was just like, wait, there's
Team?
competitive Beat Saber. Okay.
Oh, that's funky.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I mean, better score wins. It's pretty much probably head to head.
It's like Guitar Hero?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, what is Valorant, Keith? It's just whoever has the higher score wins. I mean, that's all it
Oh,
comes
don't
down
you
to.
start this with me. Do not start this with
That's
me.
all it comes down to. Is whoever has the
I'll
higher
get you
score
called
wins.
out like now.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got a wide array of including more like typical casual games. Like we've got chats for like Pokemon and like Fire Emblem and things like that. People just can connect who are passionate about those topics, and they're related to games, of course. But we're able to create community more than just through esports specifically is kind of our goal.
Yeah, so that your mission is kind of more about the community, is what you're saying, not necessarily just competition. Although you do have varsity level teams, but that's awesome to hear because even though a lot of teams and a lot of schools get focused on just that heavy, oh, we got to have a varsity team, we got to compete nationally and this and that, but don't realize you're cutting out 90% of the kids who might want to participate in the club because they just share common interest with other people. It looks like someone wants you to repeat what competitive games you guys have at Northwestern.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So competitively, we have we sort of compete varsity level. We don't actually have any teams that are affiliated or games that are affiliated with scholarships. Unfortunately, that is something we are actively working to get administrative support on. But we have teams in Overwatch, Valorant, Counter-Strike, Smash, League of Legends, Hearthstone, and we're hoping to also expand into Rocket League and Call of Duty this term.
Awesome. What leagues do you play in for Call of Duty? Is it CDL? No, not CDL. There's a college league, right?
I don't know the answer to that. To be honest with you, it's something I'm probably going to find out in the next couple of weeks, though.
Okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, TESPA is still running their collegiate league, which is probably what we would wind up doing.
Yeah, this will probably be the last year for it then, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Someone they were asking, do you guys have Fortnite?
We don't actually have a team. I don't think we've had anybody drum up enough interest for it as it is. Most of our teams have formed kind of organically from people coming forth to leadership members or just in the Discord being like, "Hey, I'm interested. Does anybody else want to play this competitive with me?" And that's actually how both of our Overwatch teams just kind of came to fruition. So we haven't really had anybody drum up interest for it yet, so we don't.
Would you be able to talk to like the process for if they wanted to start a Fortnite? What would they have to do?
So it really is that simple. Like just talk to other students who you might be interested in playing together with, or just dropping a message in the general chat, being like, "Hey, I want to play Fortnite competitively. Is there anybody who would be interested in forming a team with me?" And you might get a handful of students who say yes. Bring it to leadership, and it's really that simple. We can go from there. We'd work with the members of the team, let them choose a captain, and then interact directly with them to get them whatever resources they need to get into a league, and sort of direct them from there.
Right, kind of like our role as president, vice president, in terms, almost like servant leaders in a way, in which our main role is to provide the means for the people who are passionate about the team, the players, coach, to get into a league, to form the team, and then once they've been given the resources, kind of check up on here and there, make sure everything is kosher. But really, it's driven by those who are passionate about it, and I think that's sort of like a result of a lack of like really serious, at least financial administrative support, and that everything being student ran. Braden and I, we can only spread ourselves so thin. So the more we're able to sort of distribute the leadership, the better. But obviously, if we have teams that are participating in leagues, we don't want them no showing or anything like that. So we distribute all those roles.
So, as an overall perspective, how many students are engaged in your club right now?
Are you asking just competitively or broadly speaking?
Why not both?
Both, yeah, I would say both.
So, okay, competitively, across all of our teams, I would say we probably, if I can do some math, I'd say we're around 40 to 50, based on what I know, and that's excluding Smash because Smash is kind of nebulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, um, other than that, it's kind of tough to gauge because we aren't able to put on a lot of events right now. I don't know, Noah. What would you say?
Yeah, it is difficult to say, and one of the for that is that unlike a lot of, I guess, stereotypical clubs, we don't necessarily have explicit membership from individuals who are on competitive teams specifically who are going to be on some kind of roster. Typically, it's like people come play when they want to play. People participate whenever they want to, as sort of air of creating community of just so in a competition. So for example, we might have two Overwatch teams, but I know Overwatch scene as a whole, people who actually participate, hop bugs here and there, that's going to be 30 people. But the people actually on the team, a little bit over 10. Same thing with Smash. We might have a crew of 5, 6 people, but people who are frequently attending tournaments, 20, 30 people, maybe even more over the course of a quarter. So I'd say over the course of a quarter, people who engage with the club as a whole would be, I don't know, and Braden, you can maybe check me on this one, but around, like 100.
Yeah, I would have ballparked between 150 and 200 over the course of the quarter. So that seems about right. Yeah, because typically we do for things that we normally do, pre-COVID, we have weekly meetings for like our League of Legends club. We have 2 nights a week where we run Smash things, and then we have Counter-Strike and Valorant on the weekends. And then I don't know when Overwatch's like meeting schedule is. I think a lot of them is just kind of getting together and pugging.
Okay. Because I know that some programs they have like this gigantic club group that is we count any student who's ever visited us ever, and that then they're like we have 600 members.
Yeah, that's what our Discord server looks like. Like I could tell you we have over 500 people in our Discord server.
Holy.
But active members I don't think is quite that much.
Definitely.
And that's really reasonable.
Yeah, and
So
I think especially this year, especially the incoming freshmen might not even know you guys are a thing, and just not having that on-campus life. How is Northwestern commuter school? Is it more people on campus? How does that shake out, and how does that affect like esports club?
So Northwestern is, in my experience at least, almost exclusively people on campus or people extremely close to campus. I mean, Evanston is very much a college town, and a lot of even the upperclassmen who choose to move out of the dorms, a lot of them live within a couple blocks of campus. So it's great for us under normal circumstances that we can hold in-person events and expect upperclassmen, not just underclassmen, to show up to them.
Yeah, and sometimes we even get grad students, PhD students come on in and participate. I know the kind of genesis of our over team was one of our grad students who was just really passionate about it, and that's fantastic. And I think that's also because Northwestern, you can have it kind of as a plus and a minus, but Northwestern kind of creates like a little bubble where you can sometimes forget what's going on outside of it, and like off campus, can still sort of be included because a lot of students will live maybe a couple blocks or like 10 minutes walk away from campus. That's obviously not everyone, but a good portion. And so it can create a really tight-knit community on campus, which is fantastic aside from COVID times. We're getting a lot of those, underclassmen back on campus this quarter, though, so we'll see how things shake out. But additionally, you sort of lose that connection to the outside community, whether that's Evanston as a whole, the other Chicagoland universities. You sort of forget about them at times. But we do have some initiatives to sort of reach out. I was one of the co-founders of an organization called Intercollegiate Chicago Smash, or ICCS, which brings together, I think, 6, 7 of the Chicagoland universities into a single Smash organization to run tournaments together, host a series of tournaments, and that's about to swing back into motion here. Some online tournaments here and there. So that actually brings that connection back, which would otherwise have been lost, especially, which is awesome for Smash, because I don't know if you guys are probably aware, but Smashers love like connecting with one another. And whether that's in person, online, ideally in person, but that is like a huge element of Smash, is that in-person connection.
Yeah, no, we have all of our kids that are playing in it right now are like complaining that they're playing online and the lag and frames, and it's like, we understand, but it's better to do this than do nothing at all, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do anything. So it's unfortunate, and we can't wait to do something next year, because we actually had fun. We hosted 2 tournaments. 2 of our schools hosted tournaments, not us particularly, but they hosted tournaments, and they're really fun. And we had one that kind of went off the wall, like rules wise, didn't go your standard Smash tournament, and people were like, "Oh, this sounds stupid, this and that." They got there and I was like, "No, that actually made a lot of sense. That was kind of fun." And I was like, "Yeah, you don't have to play like same rules every time, and you can actually, get something out of changing it up every once in a while, because the Smash crowd is very." They don't like change. Let's put it that way. I won't say anything bad, but they just definitely don't like any kind of change. So
for me, as someone who was not exposed to Smash, when I saw them talking about like frame by frame analysis of moves, I'm like, whoa, okay, that's a bit much.
Yeah,
I'm just not used to that. They're really intense.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you think of fighting game, like all the time, I was like, "Oh, Smash is it's kind of a kiddie game, this and that." Like up growing up, and then Ultimate, I knew Ultimate was coming out and it was going to be big, and just starting to get into a little bit, and hearing the kids talk about what they see and what they go through, and then watching some high level Smash competitions, I'm like, no, this game is real. This is not like a fake game. I mean, I kind of wish the roster wasn't so big. It's kind of like League. Like for someone to jump into League, like I'm a League player. I've been playing since beta. Like I know all the characters because I've grown with them. But now, like for someone to jump in and be like, what character do I play? I'm like, I don't know. Just start playing someone and see how it goes. And that's kind of how I did it when I started. But when I started, there was 40, which is not really manageable, but definitely a lot better than 100.
A lot more manageable than now.
Yeah. I had kind of the same experience actually getting into Smash, because Ultimate was the first game I picked up and took semi-seriously. And I picked it up maybe 2 months after release, and I was like, I remember sitting down and watching my first like YouTube Ike tutorial, and it was like basic mechanics, and they're like the 3 or 4 frame difference between parrying with your shield or just absorbing an attack with your shield, and it took a lot to get used to. I would say. Yeah,
I literally just got it for Christmas, and I think I played for like 1 full day. I was just playing it just to see what it was like, and then I just haven't been able to get back into it. But I was like, yeah, I really have no idea who to play. And they do start you off small, but like within like half an hour of playing, you have like 12 characters. And it's like, all right, I'm already overwhelmed. I played like 12 matches and I have 12 characters already. What am I supposed to do? So, but no, I'm excited. I was actually just playing it earlier today. Just to, I just got my controllers back because I sent them in to be repaired. The Joy-Cons, because for the drift in the stick.
Yep.
So I finally got them back. It took 3-4 weeks. I sent them right before Christmas, so about 3 weeks to get them back. And so now I was like, oh, I can play in handheld mode because normally I don't have access to the TV where the Switch is hooked up. So, but
it is not fun. That's a common thing.
What?
It's not fun.
No,
That's a common thing. You have to go repair your controllers for drift.
Yeah.
So at Northwestern, like, do you guys have like a really broad smattering of majors, or is it for your program, or is it more condensed into one sort of department?
You mean for students that are involved with the club?
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure, and Noah, you can chime in and correct me if you have better information. I would assume it probably leans more towards STEM majors. But I can't say that with any confidence, to be honest with you. I don't think we've done any sort of like surveys to figure that out. But in my experience interacting with the people, at least on the teams that I manage, most of them are STEM majors.
Yeah. And before I was vice president of the club, I was on Smash leadership. And we pretty much ask, as we're meeting, like what their major is. And I could say that most of them are indeed STEM majors, but at least for Smash, since that's where I was meeting people, there were a not, negligible amount of people, not STEM, where they were, theater majors in there. There were music majors, actually a number of those, kind of like a wide array. So I think, as is, one could expect with gaming in general, it does appeal to STEM a little bit more, but there is still room and space for all, majors to come and participate.
Awesome. And I know I was always trying to like see, and we were talking about as a staff here, like surveying like surveys for schools about how to get like metrics on that kind of stuff, and it's hard to keep track sometimes, isn't it? Of just how how many broad categories your players or students fit into.
Yeah, no, and that's something we've actually started slowly doing at the beginning of this year. Noah and I kind of started almost an initiative to just kind of collect a little bit of data from our members, because we want to try and use it to kind of guesstimate where the club is at, how we can progress, how we can include more people, and then ultimately how we can also appeal to administration.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that they really have going for them at DePaul. I don't know if you guys have ever talked with Courtney before.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would ask her about like the data that they keep and stuff like that, because she did a whole presentation at a conference, and I was like, this is actually really good information, and the analysis of it, showing that all the females and the return users, and I was like, oh my god, this is so awesome to actually break it down by by gender and by what year or what major they are, and kind of put it all together to come up with a statement about the school. And so I was like, wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah, that's actually kind of, I was at that conference actually, and I had a very similar experience when she was giving her presentation and just talking about like the demographics of people that they had used their facility, and how many people came back and used it multiple times, and then how there was a sizable chunk of students that were associated with the esports club or their gaming club that didn't participate actively in any other clubs, and those were the two things that stuck out to me.
Yeah, and I think that, and once you like show administration that, they're like, oh wow, they actually have spirit, and they'll buy Northwestern gear and promote it, and it's like, yeah, guys, we're doing this all for you. Give us a little bit of something so we can, make it a little better. And that's hopefully the idea for some of those student-run programs, is to be able to get that recognition from administration, to have something a little bit more, whether it's space on campus, a small lab, or at least a small area. So you guys, if you want to host events and do stuff like that, would be awesome to see you guys grow into.
Yeah, that's one of our goals, or certainly at least one of my goals for the next couple of years. Because, like I said, I'm a junior, so I've got one more year with the club, hopefully. And I'd like to be able to make some solid progress on that by the end of my senior year.
Hey, there's always grad school.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I haven't really considered. I don't want to think about that yet, but
it's like, just let me finish one degree.
We're getting there.
Yeah. If you want to procrastinate, hopping into the workforce, apparently grad school is a phenomenal use.
And you can keep doing that forever and ever if you really want to. I know some people working on their third stint at grad school. I'm like, whew.
I had a couple of friends in a club I was at Illinois State who stayed around during grad school just because of the club, more or less. They went to grad school at ISU just because they wanted to stay, which it's nice, but also like, come on, you kind of got to go eventually. You can't keep paying the university forever.
Right. Paying for them for something you could do, if it's just for gaming or just for a club, that you can do for by yourself.
So have you guys put a lot of thought to how a varsity program would come out of what you currently have? Because I know the transition for that is pretty rough for some schools.
Not yet. That's something we've kind of talked about briefly and haven't worked into the process much yet. Fortunately, we have a lot of really good contacts in the area, both at places like DePaul, Robert Morris, and similar schools like that who have something a little more established. And I'm hoping we can kind of draw on them to help us at least navigate that. Because I know Robert Morris was one of the first universities to really do it and have it work.
And I know a lot of directors out there are really friendly and just willing to talk with you.
Yeah.
Fletch and Kirk on Twitter have been just always open and just saying things constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
our contacts at TESPA and another company called Uconnect Esports, they're also very, very willing to smooth that kind of process over and help with those conversations with administrators. So I think, although we haven't been thinking about it extensively, I think we wouldn't want to lose that sort of camaraderie that we've established just for the sake of competition, especially since we're on the quarter system, which is already incredibly taxing on all of our.
Can you explain that system for those? Because a lot of college students just go, "Oh, it's semesters. Okay, we're cool." But how does the system work for you guys at NU?
Yeah.
So
Braden,
it's called the quarter system. Unless you do summer school, it basically works out to be trimesters. So, in theory, we have 4 quarters. There's one in spring, summer, winter, and fall. Realistically, most people just do fall, winter, and spring. So we have a term that goes from late September till early December. And then our winter term goes from usually the first week of January to like the second or third week of March. And then our spring term goes from the end of March until the second or third week of June.
Really cramming courses in there. Holy crap.
Yeah. Average course load is 4 courses per term, which I found to be manageable. I know it depends on what you take, of course, but it can be taxing.
Yeah. Additionally, I know a lot of schools use credit hours, but Northwestern at least does not use credit hours. It's just if you're taking one class, that is 1 credit. So it doesn't matter if that's like an extremely complex class, like something crazy like mass transport, which is going to take, out of class 15 to 20 hours each week on homework. That's just 1 credit, versus something like I'm a biometric major, so I'm just speaking from my own experience. Like 3D, super chill and very enjoyable, still 1 credit. Yeah, 4 classes is typically the norm. But as you're kind of noting there, everything really does get crammed in approximately 10 weeks. You have to blaze through a lot of content. So even if it might just be 4 classes, it's pretty much at like a breakneck pace the entire time.
Yeah, and I just want to reemphasize what I said, that for most people it's manageable, but it really does depend on what classes you wind up taking. And a lot of it is about planning out your schedule so that you're not taking Orgo while you're taking multivariable calculus or things like that. At least to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I always like planning out courses seems like a really hard thing to do on a semester basis when you're trying to take a hard major, but on trimesters, ooh boy, trying to fit things in correctly is weird.
So there's actually a little benefit to doing the quarter system there, which is that you're able to spread them out a little bit more, so that if you have 3 really difficult classes that you're going to have to take over the year on the semester system, you would be forced to take at least 2 of them together, right? But in the quarter system, you can potentially spread them out, so you have 1 of them each term. So there is that, which is I think beneficial. I've definitely used it to my advantage.
That's awesome.
Someone was asking in chat, any plans for Valorant?
Yeah, so I think I briefly mentioned this earlier. Right now we are playing in we just have 1 team, but at the moment we are playing in a league called the Big Time Valorant Conference, which is Northwestern along with the rest of the Big Ten schools. Actually, we're working with a group with an organization called Aquatic Esports that have sort of helped us organize and put together this league for the Big Ten schools, which started last week, and we play again Friday night. I'm hoping to see it continue to grow and go well and be competitive. As the game draws more interest, I think, and as we get more students in, I'm hoping that we can eventually put together more teams and have more than just one, because one is just not as fun as having two or three. Being able to do in-house scrims, or put on events where you can, have the teams play each other, or just being able to mingle and having more people who are interested in the game, who are passionate about the game, is always a good time. So as it stands, I think we have 5 starters and 2 or 3 subs. So obviously, we have almost enough to put together a second team just as it is now.
Nice. Well, it's good to see that something's going with that. And yeah, like you said, I think it's better. Obviously, the more kids involved, the better it is as a whole for that community. And I think fostering that growth is a lot better.
We had a question in chat asking, what are the esports facilities like at NU? Since you guys are not a officially sponsored group, it's more or less just whatever you guys have, right?
Yeah, Noah, you can go ahead. You know Norris a little better than I do.
Yeah. So the main, and this is going to be utilized primarily, well, again, before COVID and once it blows over. We have a student center called Norris. It's actually within the basement. There's a game room, and this is, it's a pretty space, but I think it's a little bit outdated, is what it is. It's not super visually appealing or, however, it does have a lot of TVs available, which is nice, and it's a spot that people will come down to kind of hang out. There are also pool tables there, ping pong tables, good stuff. That's honestly the main space on campus for gaming, whether it's going to be, FGC or in-person stuff. I know that League Club will meet in one of our technology building where a lot of STEM classes are held. They'll come there and hang out. But aside from that, there's really not a lot. Most people, I think, in League and other, games are going to prefer to use their own rig in their home, because lugging that to a space on campus is not ideal by any means.
Yeah, the long and the short of it is that at the moment there aren't any dedicated facilities for esports. We are fortunate to work with the student center that they let us use the game room in the basement to do things mostly for Smash. But aside from that, we just kind of take what we can get.
Yeah.
And this is, again, one of our bigger goals for the next couple of years, to try and sort of petition administration to be like, hey, we're doing something here. We have engagement. We'd like to have a space to do it. And I think on the short term, a goal is to just get, at least a computer lab somewhere we can get 5 rigs set up next to each other, and go from there, probably.
Yeah, I think it's important just to start small, get some kind of foothold going, and then you can grow it from there, As soon as you get it open, and then, figure out the schedule and things like that, and it's like, oh, wow, this room's busy every hour of the day. Maybe we should do something more with it. Because, a lot of times they don't realize, and you said, some kids might want to play in their own rig, but there might be kids that don't have a rig to really play on. They might be playing on a MacBook, that's 6 years old or something like that, and they'd rather play on something a little nicer. So, I mean, that's what we're trying to do at the high school level, is making sure everyone has equal access. Because, in Chicago, in the city, there's a lot of kids who have no idea what League of Legends is or Valorant is. They play Call of Duty and they play, console shooters, Overwatch, and this and that, but they don't know the PC side of it because they just never had the money or never had the need to invest in a PC. And so, offering them that opportunity, a lot of kids, after they've come to see my labs, they've been like, well, what do you have in there? Because I want to buy exactly what you have in there. And, that's the computer I want. Where did you get it from? How do I do it? And,
right, and that's a barrier that you definitely don't want to have in place, especially at a place like NU, where there is such a massive mix of students who both come from much wealthier backgrounds and students who also come from much less privileged backgrounds, and that having a space like that completely eliminates that barrier.
Yep. Totally. Well, so we've been going for a little bit here. Do you guys have anything that you want to shout out, and any good accomplishments you guys have had in the past, couple of years, or anything you have coming up? I know you were talking about Smash tournament starting up again soon. Is there anything you guys want to plug that's coming up, or?
Well, I'm gonna mention the Valorant thing again, because our team will be playing competitively again this week. I think Friday night at 7:30, and I don't think we will be the streamed match this week. But at twitch.tv/aquatic esports, that's aquatic spelled with a K, not a C.
Of course.
They'll be streaming the match of the week there. I'm not sure who it is. But they've been doing really well, and I'm really hoping that the league continues to take off. And then I think our Counter-Strike team will be playing this Saturday night as well, and that match will also be streamed on our channel, twitch.tv/Northwestern Esports, which I'm looking forward to. I'll probably be playing, which will be fun.
You can drop that link in the chat for our Twitch if you want. Because I always want to promote streams and whatnot from other universities and get students exposed to that sort of atmosphere, because a lot of universities are hitting it big on streaming.
Yeah, and it's something we're starting to focus on a lot more as of late last year, especially when we hosted the Smash tournament and put together a stream for that, and we had a really good time with it and are hoping to continue.
Yeah, I've sort of been running the point on that, but I'm looking, well, since I'm a senior and I'm going to head out of here, I'm trying to pass it on to others, to the youngins. It's been sort of rewarding to sort of build up the stream and create all the assets and just create just about everything with it. But I also realize it's quite taxing at times to do troubleshooting for the audio for 30 minutes in a row and then still not figure it out and things like that. But yeah, hopefully the streaming can be something that we strike big on soon here in the future.
Yeah, I know those struggles. When I first started coaching at Taft, we created a Twitch page. We got partnered through the Twitch student program, and I was having to have myself as well as 3 other high school students stream on our channel on a weekly basis. And I had it down. These were kids I trusted, were mature enough, and lo and behold, they did put up their scheduled time for probably, we did it for a good 3 months, where we were consistent. Every week they had their day, and they can stream as long as they wanted on their stream day, and they were really good about it. And then we'd always stream our games. When we played League and played Overwatch, they would, one of our players would stream from their perspective, which was really cool. So
yeah, we've had sort of similar experience, kind of getting it off the ground, trying to do the Smash tournament in February from a laptop, and it's a whole process to kind of get from where we start to where we want to be.
Someone was asking for the link for the aquatic stream.
Sure, yeah, I can drop that one as
chat?
well. I think that's the right one.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So the Valorant matches on Aquatic stream are Friday night, and then our stream will be Saturday night. We'll just be hosting one of our players streaming their perspective, which will be very exciting.
Nice. With that being said, if there are any freshmen that are here, how would they get in touch with you if they had more questions, or if they wanted to figure out what it's like to be a part of the club at NU? Should they reach out on your Twitter? Are they able to join your Discord? How would you like them to reach out to you?
Yeah, there are a myriad of ways to get in touch with the club. The best one is definitely through Discord. We have our server is open. Anybody can join who has an invite. And there is an invite in our Twitter bio, which is at NU Esports. You can DM us on Twitter. I check that usually every couple of days. And then you can reach out to anybody in the Discord, any of the people who are flagged as leadership members, if you want to get more involved with something specifically. Otherwise, just being in the server is sort of our hub. That's where most of the things happen.
Awesome.
Cool. I'm dropping a link in Twitch chat.
Thank you. I was just about to do that. All right, sounds good. Anything else you guys have to say before we go? Thank you again for being on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for having us. It's always fun to, be able to talk about our program a little bit and hear what some other people are doing, especially as we're trying to sort of go from the ground up again. So yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you again. Noah, Braden, Keith,
Just
thank
one-
you for joining me again this week. Glad you're feeling better this week. The world's not on fire. Knock on
Oh
wood.
yeah.
For now. For now.
For now.
Last Wednesday was a little rough doing that podcast, but
Oof,
show must go on.
Next Wednesday is going to be just as bad.
Oh, it's that 20th, isn't it? Good God, what did I do?
We're gonna have to see if we're gonna keep doing this next week.
I will be here whether Keith is here or not. Who is next week?
And
Oh.
you say I'm too busy.
You're too busy.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Next week we have U of I on next week, so hopefully we'll have to confirm with them. So that should be a good time too. And that's our goal, is to showcase all of the colleges in Illinois first before we go anywhere else, because I don't know what the percentage is, but I know it's above 60% of our kids in Illinois go to Illinois schools, and for them to at least get this introduction. You guys aren't very big like on campus. That's not something that's promoted on Northwestern social media and front page that you guys are esports. And so we want to get it out there, even the small clubs, be like, hey, yes, there is esports no matter what school you're going to. And, seeing you guys get started in streaming and, creating everything yourself, like, it would be so great if you had a freshman, come in next year and was like, yeah, I already know how to stream. I can do all this. I did all this stuff from my school. And that's our goal as an organization, is to help train students so they can go on to college and help take over some of those responsibilities. And, just trying to make these connections now with them, hopefully will help create that easy transition to collegiate esports.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome.
Great. Well, thanks again for being here, guys. Definitely check us out next Wednesday. We do have a Valorant stream. What time is the Valorant stream on Saturday, Keith?
We're streaming at 1 for the last round of regular season, and then I'm gonna add to my sticking on my desk. We're changing our stream time or starting time to noon for the playoffs.
Okay, so 1 o'clock this Saturday, and it'll be noon after that. What's the playoff schedule? Is it once a week?
We're playing
Or is it
2
2
weeks.
rounds?
It's gonna be it's just grabbing the top 8 teams from each division. So I'm gonna have, on the 23rd is gonna be the round of 8 and the round of 4.
Okay.
Round of 8 at noon, round of 4 at 4, and then the next Saturday is gonna be finals in 3rd place.
Sweet. So Valorant wrapping up, and then we have playoffs after that. So if you guys are around on Saturdays, check it out. We're still trying to figure out if we can stream Smash at all. I know there was a couple people that were trying it out to see. We don't know how those tests went, but we're trying to make it an easy transition with Smash players so that they can see it. But we'll definitely try to stream something when we get to playoffs, so we can observe some of the higher end kids. Because I actually know there's a bunch of kids at Evanston High School that actually are really big into Smash as well. Although they're not playing in our season, I know they're involved. I know they're pretty much talking to you guys too. They're not playing in our season yet, but I think they're putting their own tournaments together too, which is awesome that they're able to do that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them win money at our tournaments, actually.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. And I was looking at some of the kids say who's the best kid in high school in the state, and they linked to his. He's like, yeah, he's 16-year-old kid, like winning championships for Smash all over in the area, and I'm like, that's awesome. And that's what we kind of got to get out to and reach out to them, and so that they know that, hey, you can go to college and participate in Smash no matter what you're going. You can go Northwestern for law and still be doing esports. It's awesome. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a great night. With that being said, see you guys later.